Hey Chetna, really nice connecting with you. To get started, can we get an introduction from you about what you do in the dating space?
Okay, so I'm a relationship coach. And literally this afternoon, I said this. I want to change my LinkedIn bio to say, if you're single, I'll get you married. If you're married and unhappy, I'll get you divorced. Which one do you need? A normal day for me as a relationship coach is literally guiding a single person on the conversations they're having with somebody that they're trying to date or that they've matched with or whatever, to telling somebody who's newly married about how to break certain patterns and not mess up the newly married space and give it time, to helping somebody negotiate their divorce terms, and then moving on to helping somebody who's recently gotten divorced to figure out their life post divorce, right? So it's all in a day's work. My sessions literally go from one to the other.
Does it get jarring for you when you're doing both simultaneously?
No,
People,
I don't think so, because I think I come from the mindset that the ending of a relationship is a part of life and it's not the end of life. And I feel that is something that has not been normalized in our society. It is a relationship is for life and forever, and it cannot end, right? And if it ends, you're a failure and your life is a failure, etc. And I don't have that notion or that mindset or that belief system. For me, relationships can end. They could be very beautiful marriages. People would have built a beautiful life. Kids would have grown up and they would have grown apart. And it's okay. It happens. And two people are allowed to get out there and find another love and find a new love if that's what they need. It's not the end of everything. It's very interesting for me because I can see common patterns of conditioning, because the single person is speaking a certain way, which is very similar to what the divorced person is also speaking. Right? The single person is saying, I'm running out of time and I need to find love. And the divorced person is saying, I'm running out of time and will I find another person? Am I going to be alone all my life? Single person in her 30s is saying, am I going to be alone all my life? 45-year-old is saying, am I going to be alone all my life? And this is men and women both. I just say her, it's just naturally, it comes that way, but it's men and women both. And I have a lot of men who are also my clients for relationship space.
I'm really excited to talk to you about first moves
Me
while
too.
dating. So, why is it
Yeah.
ladies first only on Bumble? Why can't it be ladies first IRL in public spaces such as the gym or a shopping mall or a cafe or a meetup group
I think,
that we hang
okay,
with?
so let's firstly understand why it became ladies first on Bumble. It was because a lot of ladies received unwanted requests and messages and unwanted propositions. They didn't feel safe. So Bumble making it ladies first was about a safety aspect. It was giving the woman the right to consent and the right to choose, which in the Indian society is not something that women are given even today. Even today, the girls are conditioned to believe that the man will choose them and they must behave a certain way and get the man's attention, and then the man chooses them. So we've been raised to believe that a man must choose.
How did this narrative come about?
Because that's the piece of patriarchy, right? Women had no voice. Women were not supposed to choose. If you go back to your grandmother and your great grandmother, our great grandmothers and great grandmothers, or even our mothers, most of them tell us, "Hamare paas to choice hi nahi tha." We didn't have a choice. We were told that this is the person you are marrying. I didn't see your father till the day of the marriage. So many of us have that story also, right? Where our moms didn't see our father. Do you know what the funny conversation has happened in so many of our lives is girls and boys have looked at the mother and said, how did you marry him? Or how have you tolerated him? This is a common joke in a lot of Indian homes where they look at the father and said, you're such a beautiful lady, you chose him. And not because he's not good looking man, because he might be a painful person in the way the house runs, and not because there's no love. It's just that they see how demanding it is, right? So we come from a society, and it's not just Indian, it used to be a society. The British were like that, the Americans were like that, the Europeans were like that years ago. So patriarchy in society moved from a space where the women had to be chosen. Even if you read books like Pride and Prejudice, what is happening in that? The woman had to be chosen, and the woman had to do everything to please the man and make sure that she fits and his bill and is attractive enough and he will choose her. So even today the narrative is, if a man doesn't choose me, then I'm not worthy of it. When a man chooses me is when I'm good enough and I'm worthy. Oh, look what I managed. oh, look what I have achieved. Right? That's when the thing is to say, oh, what a handsome pair. And then that's when you feel like, yeah, okay, this is what I have attracted. There's a sense that comes in. So the logic is, I mean, there's no logic to it. It's just a piece of patriarchy that we've been following. Now, in today's world, okay, there's Bumble. A lot of girls on Bumble will say hi, hello, right? They're making the first move. It's that not that they're not making the first move, but they're making the first move on a platform where they don't have a choice. And even when they make the first move, they are not standing in that power. 3 minutes into that conversation, 5 lines exchanged, the moment they feel that, oh, there's a chemistry, oh, there's an attraction, they flip into a space of pleasing and impressing and, trying to be coy and trying to be something so that the guy will ask them out. And it's all subconscious. Nobody's doing this consciously necessarily. And I've had many female clients where I've told them, okay, you like this guy, why don't you tell him, why don't you ask him out for coffee? And they're like, no, I can't make the first move. Now, when I've asked them why you can't make the first move, they're shy. Fair enough, we're shy. Okay. But two, it's also this piece of a man should make the move because that's his thing to do. Then he's not man enough if I have to make the move. Right. And I'm a girl, so why should I? But underneath this, there's another layer saying if he doesn't make the move and I'm making the move, then I'm running behind him. He's not running behind me and I'm not worthy enough. I'm not good enough. So it boils down to that piece.
So are you saying it's difficult to break out of this conditioning?
It's difficult. You have to be a very boisterous and a rebel kind of a girl. Also because you are taking a chance, because men also are not used to women making the move. A lot of men find it attractive, yes. But a woman who makes the first move is also a woman who's not going to play coy and shy and, play a certain chase game with the guy. And a lot of times the men will get intimidated by this. Now, whether they like to hear this or not, whether the women like to hear this or not, this is the truth. The man gets intimidated. Also, the other piece that comes in is women want to be taken care of. They like to be taken care of. If you ask them what kind of a man you want, there's always a man who's tall, handsome, well-built, financially settled, romantic. All of this says that the man must take care of me. And in that sense, if they have to make the first move, then they're not sure the man is capable of taking care of them. And the flip side is if they are going to make the first move, the man may not take care of the woman the way she wants to because he will think that she's independent enough to take care of herself. So he kind of lets it be in a nice manner, not in a way to take it for granted. He assumes that she's somebody who's independent and can handle herself. And, she's the cool chick who doesn't want the extra bits, whereas the girl wants it. The coolest of chick wants the extra love and care. The coolest of chick wants to be wooed and given the flowers and the door to be opened for her. May not be in that way, but certain similar things that say the same thing.
But is there some truth to saying that men tend to lose interest in women who chase them or who become pursuers? Because this is the piece of advice I got when I started dating, that never chase a man. You will lose self-respect and you will lose his attention.
So I think
So.
I think a couple of things happen there, right? Men like the chase. When you start chasing, you're taking the game away from them. They don't know how to play the field. The rules have changed. They don't know how to play it. So confusion. That's one. The second piece is when women chase, a lot of us, and I'm not saying all of us, a lot of us are not good at it. We don't chase with a certain coolness and a detachment. We chase in a very clingy and overbearing manner. We mother and we nurture and we nag and we constantly message. We don't flirt. So then for the man, that's stifling. It's kind of like, oh God, this woman is too clingy. Where's my space? Or then if she's the cool one and she's flirting, it might get intimidating for him after a certain point because he may not get a space to outshine or for him to feel like he has his own. Last piece, again, if you are a woman who wants to be taken care of, if you chase the man, in all likelihood, he's not going to take care of you the way you want him to because he's not getting that message. Men are far more simple and straightforward in how they see things and how they place things. For a lot of them, 1 + 1 is 2. For women, 1 + 1 is 11, 111, 1011, right? We have 50 combinations that we create. A lot of emotional men, very emotional men will do this as well. But the very practical man, the man's man, those kind of people, one, when the woman chases them, they enjoy it in the beginning because the ego feels good. But when it starts to get overbearing and mothering and naggy, and they'll term it as clingy. Also, when a woman chases, a lot of the times the ego comes in their way, and for them it becomes like, I see that girl is attracted to me. Yeah, so I'll play along, but there's nothing really going to happen there because they don't have a satisfaction of the chase and the achievement. They are not getting that hit.
Are you discouraging women from making the first move? So what's your
No,
like your hot
I'm
take?
saying that women can make the first move, but it has to be done a certain way. And if you don't know how to hold your own and stand in a detached way, but flirting without falling in love, without the guy even reciprocating, don't do it. So, what happens with us women is we find the guy cute, we'll make the move, we'll flirt, the guy will give us some attention. And if there is chemistry in our head, we've written the love story, we've gotten married, we've had kids, we've had grandkids. And at that point, you've lost the game because your behavior towards this guy is going to go from flirting to wanting his attention and to wanting him to show extra interest in you. And so then you're going to go into pleasing and nurturing, and the clingy behavior starts coming out. So we are not chasing to win. We are suddenly chasing to get his attention and to make him choose us and to make him want us. So we've forgotten that we wanted this.
So it's kind of ironical. That's what you're saying.
Whoever's watching this, if you're a girl who knows how to flirt with a boundary and let the guy take 2 steps before you take your 2 steps, and you do it in a sense of tandem, like in sync, then go for it. But if you're not one of those girls, then don't go for it and then go into the pleasing behavior and become overbearing, because then you're pushing this person away.
Is it even appropriate to hit on a guy in the gym, or if someone's shopping, like you just bump into them and you probably introduce yourself, or you
Why
ask
not?
some questions?
Why not?
Do men like to
If
be
it's
bumped
appropriate
or?
for a guy to do it, it's appropriate for a girl to do it. And I mean this when it is in a clean manner, not in when men are being creepy and sleazy and eve teasing kind of way. I'm talking about in a healthy two people in a nightclub at a bar at the bar counter having a drink who find each other cute. So you smile to at each other across the bar, and so you have a conversation first and you flirt. So what?
So how do you start a conversation in that scenario? What would you
I mean, for
lead
me,
with?
as somebody who has done this, I usually talk about something that is happening, that is being done. So if I'm at the bar and a guy was ordering a drink and it was taking too much time, I would crack a joke about it, or I would crack a joke about a drink, or I would compliment the drink, and it kind of starts a little banter. So if you're going to do this in the gym, so the gym is a little, you have to be a little careful about space because people want to be in their zone, right? And some people want to flirt, some people don't want to flirt. But I think wherever you are, things to look at first is whether there's eye contact, whether there's a smile, whether there's actually a connect happening more than once, not just one eye contact and you walk up and talk, but is the guy giving you the side eye and the looks? Is that happening? Do you have his attention? And on some days, it can be as easy as saying, hey, how's it going? I see you in the gym very often. Is this the regular time you come at? Or it is to compliment something, or it is to ask for something.
In terms of a strategy, you're saying like space it out. If you happen to meet this person in a place like a gym where you're meeting them frequently.
In a gym, it's not like you're walking into the gym, you find this guy cute and you're going to walk in and start flirting. Even a guy is not going to do that unless he's really head over heels with the girl. Okay. So there is a certain amount of sussing out that happens. And, guys would usually come at the same time the next day to see the girl, kind of a thing. Do exactly what the guys do. We have enough examples. Just mirror it, but with your own flavor, right? In a nightclub, it's not half as hard to do, because in a nightclub, a lot of people are coming with that intention to meet up and to catch up and to connect. And there's a certain adventure and excitement in meeting somebody in the nightclub and kind of hitting it off. So it's easier there. In a supermarket aisle, I'm not sure in India you would get a lot of single men in the supermarket aisle. You get a lot of married men with the wife in another aisle and the man in one aisle. So be careful. I might be wrong, but it's something to consider, because I don't think you would get a lot of single men in supermarket aisles in India. I might be wrong, and I'm glad if somebody proves me wrong, but just be careful.
So at what point do you exchange like contact information? Do you make the first move, like you volunteer your information, or you ask the guy?
I would say it depends on how safe you feel when it comes to contact information, how confident and safe you feel about this person. And usually the person who makes the move either asks for contact details or gives contact details. So if you're still wondering whether this person is for real and nice and safe, I would take the contact details, because then I can stalk and figure things out. But if I'm feeling safe enough and confident enough, then I would put my number in the person's phone and then we could start chatting. Although today, in today's day and age, there's a safer way of doing it called Instagram and Facebook. So you follow each other and then you chat there before you give actual numbers.
So at what point does it get creepy? Like you go up to a guy and you kind of introduce yourself and you ask him some questions and he responds, or you sense that there's not enough interest coming from the other person and you have to step back. How do you kind of check on that? Like how do you read the situation and the guy that you're talking to?
I think guys would make it very clear. Girls take a little more time. So girls would still stand back and entertain a conversation and not give anything, even when they're not interested, because they're trying to act really cool. But with a guy, with the way that he responds to you, and how he has the conversation with you, should tell you. However, the nicer thing to do is in the beginning to keep the conversation very short, which means just a quick 2-line exchange and a 2-line banter. Go back to doing whatever it is that you're doing. See if there's eye contact happening after that, and see if there's some kind of an interest being shown in body language, and whether he's looking at you, are you looking at him? And then after that, maybe try one more conversation, which can be slightly longer, and then kind of take it from there. But I would not go and stand and suddenly dive into one 4-hour long conversation or 1 hour long conversation, taking away the whole night or the whole time in the gym away. So even say, for instance, okay, let's hypothetically say it's in the gym, the guy's on the treadmill, you find the treadmill next to him, you start walking, and and there's some kind of looks being exchanged, and you crack a joke of some sort. And then you go back to whatever it is that you're doing. And you wait for a little bit, and maybe after see whether there's still some kind of smiles and exchange and something happening. Or if this guy is in his own world listening to his music and walking away and kind of with his headphones and not looking your way at all, right? And so if he's not looking your way at all, you finish your workout and you say bye and say see you tomorrow, and you go and you try again the next day to see what it looks and feels like. But if he's giving you some kind of a leeway, which you'll know, then after a certain point, have another conversation again. And usually when a person is interested, whether it's a guy or a girl, when a person is interested, sometimes they also initiate the second round or the third round. But avoid being diabetically sweet and overly complimenting and pouring yourself all over this person. Because think of it the other way. If you had a guy who did that to you, you'd also be like, okay, like, hello, one hand distance, like too much, too close for comfort. So like we were taught in school, don't do unto others what you don't want done unto you. So it's a simple space to follow.
And for some of us women who are shy and introverted, there is this period of anticipation, even before you make the first move, when you have to, get this entire pitch ready in your head. How do you deal with the anxiety that comes with this anticipation of going up to a guy and introducing yourself? And what do you do when it backfires?
Breathe a few times before you go to the washroom, check your lipstick, kind of hype yourself up and then go. But you're going to have to do it despite the anxiety. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so you're going to have to do it despite the anxiety. And a lot of times I say this, imagine your anxiety to be your younger sibling or a younger cousin who is annoyingly latched onto you and wants to go everywhere with you. Just imagine that your anxiety is that, and you just take this along, right? And you put on a bigger smile and you do what you have to do. But if you are kind of rejected, make sure that you don't do this when you're alone. You have some friends around, whether it's in the gym, whether it's in wherever, in a nightclub. And if you are rejected, just make sure that they're there and they know and they have your back.
That's a really good tip. So you're saying
Yeah, because
you have to go with a plan, like you can't just do it spontaneously.
I like having backup plans and backup plans for the backup plans. I mean, I'm a life coach. Okay. So for me, with everything that I will say, hey, wait 1 second, if this situation happens, this is what you do. If that I said, right, 1 + 1 is 11 and 1 + 1 is 1011.
So, in terms of the content of what you say to the guy that you're interested in, what is appropriate and what is not? Is it okay to tell the guy that you find him physically attractive, or that's a no-no?
I wouldn't do that like that in those words. Because when you tell a guy you're physically attracted, it might go into the space of him just wanting to have fun with you. And I mean it sexually. And I don't know if you're up for that. Unless that's what you're looking for also. If you're also looking for that one night of fun, want to hook up, that's all it is, then go all out. Then compliment, then flirt, and it's fine. But if you want to go and take it slow and it's not about sex and it's not about hooking up one night, but you want to explore because you really find this guy attractive and you want to see whatever, you want to take time to find out whether he's even single. Even if you want to have fun with him, you need to find out if this guy is single.
How do you lead and how do you segue to like, are you single? How do you do that transition?
You ask straight up. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, guys don't hesitate to ask these things. Why are we girls hesitating? Do as the guys do. Mirror. And the advantage that we girls have is that we know how to smile and we know how to blush. Smile, blush, cute, say, by the way, are you single? That's, I mean, use it. It's fine.
And what if they tell you, like, back off, you're being very creepy right now?
No guys saying that. Very rarely, babe. You have to be real. You have to be real. Then you back off. Then you definitely back off, and you really need to understand that you've gone too far. The same thing with a guy. If I say that to a guy, I want him to back off. The same thing with a girl. The rules are the same. No means no. Because he said no, you take it personally and feel rejected. That's your problem. That guy has a choice and a right to say, no, I don't want this. He could be in a relationship. He could be at this point interested in somebody else. You don't know the picture and the scenario. So if he says back off, you need to back off. But guys will rarely tell you back off, you're creeping me out in that manner unless you really are. And if that's how he said it, then you have done something very wrong. You really have creeped out a person. Because in the first instance, you're smooshing a man's ego and he's loving it. And he's possibly thinking he's getting a good night of fun. I mean, you really have to creep him out and be over.
So hypothetically speaking, in the gym situation again, how do you plan this move? Do you wait for a moment when you kind of have some, like you're not surrounded by people around you and you're with the guy, or do you just do it when you like kind of bump into him and go for it? What do you do?
It can be either or.
But
I mean, you
won't it
could
get
be
awkward
working
if
out.
people are listening in on your conversation? No?
Most people have headphones in the gym, yeah. Who's listening?
Good point.
They're not even listening to the music of the gym. So most people have headphones on. See, this is all because we are that self-conscious, so we're looking around and whatever. And like I said, look, especially as a girl, okay, I mean, we take each other to the washroom. I mean, it's like when we want to go to the washroom, we go together. It's the same thing. Do it when you have friends around as your backup so that you can kind of do that and go back to a safe space and then kind of go and try again and go back to your safe space.
Sure.
Unless you're really somebody who does better solo and whatever, then fair enough. So I know a lot of girls who have made the first move. And it's not as scary and as hard as we make it out in our head. It becomes scary and hard when you have burdened it with expectations of how it should go. But when you're doing this with curiosity and for fun, it's kind of easier. When you're not looking for an end result. If you're doing this because you have a fairy tale in your head that you want to play out, you're going to struggle. But if you're doing this just for fun because it's adventurous and it's kind of risky, right? It feels like that. And you're curious, then you're more likely to have a fun experience. And it's not going to be something that says, oh, I got rejected and oh, this happened and oh, that happened. I think the mistake that we make, not just in this making the first move space, in dating, in a job interview, in everything in life, right? Is we have a desire and we have an action and we burden both of these with the expectation of how it's supposed to pan out and what that end result is supposed to be. So we've already gone into that finish line. And then the what ifs and the buts and everything has already come out.
Who do we choose? Someone we are interested in, but we have to pursue this person, or someone who pursues us and we're not as interested or as attracted to them as in situation one?
My question is, why are you choosing? Explore both. Okay, ladies, let me just say this to you. Men don't choose, they explore everything. Why are we ladies choosing? Explore both. I don't, sometimes I find it very amusing when girls say, oh, I can't talk to 3 guys at one time. Guys have no problem in talking to 3 girls at one time.
Hey, why do they lead with this whole monogamy spiel, right? Men do that. They're like, I'm only talking
Because they
to
know that's what the
you.
girls want to hear.
Wow.
And they're trying to also get the girl's attention. So they're not going to say something to scare the girl off. But they are okay with talking to multiple girls. And when you're on a dating app, most of us are chatting with more than one person at the same time. So if you have somebody who's interested in you and you have somebody you are interested in, and I will say this from personal experience, please explore both. Please go on at least one date with both. You're not answerable to either, and you don't owe explanations to either, and oh, you're not a woman of low character because you went on 2 separate dates in the same week with 2 different guys. Welcome to the world of dating in 2024, where Tinder and Bumble and etc. is there, right? We're not doing it the traditional Indian way anymore. So if you are chatting with 3 guys and 3 guys have asked you out, go. Mind you, I know of men who have gone on 2 dates with 2 different women on the same day.
So do you keep this information private?
Yeah, you keep it private. You don't owe anybody anything. There's no need to tell. They are not telling you. Most women don't know that the man has gone on another date and then come to meet her. Huh? So you can keep it private. You don't have to explain this. And there is no commitment here yet. You're exploring. You are exploring. You are choosing to meet. You are going with curiosity. Go meet. See which one catches your attention. See which one actually realistically lasts. I think more than should you go for the guy who likes you or the guy you like, you need to go for the guy who is showing up consistently.
Chetna, thank you so much for the wonderful insights. And I'm just wondering how my viewers can reach you for dating advice or coaching.
So I'm extremely active on Instagram. My handle is Positivity Angel. And you can DM me. I usually try and respond to all DMs that actually ask a question that is valid. I mean, when I get DMs that just say hi, I'm not sure how to respond. But when I get DMs that have a legit question in there or a comment or something, I'm able to answer. And I run coaching programs, one-on-one coaching programs, where you can sign up. And if you are single and in the dating space, I help you realign what you are looking for in the right words and the right energy. And I help you navigate those dates, right from what is being said and what it actually means to what you should be saying and how you need to be testing waters. And then kind of moving forward, and is this aligned to what you are looking for, right? So I help you do that. And I mean, I have a backup profession of being a wedding guest. So I attend clients' weddings every year because I get them to that point where they find love and they want to get married. Some don't want to get married, and we celebrate just finding love, and that's great. So yeah, that's how you reach me. I run programs, group programs that you can sign up for, where I run 6 sessions in which I help you realign what you are looking for, and your actions on how you are trying to attract that. So when I do work with a client, a single client, it's not about chasing somebody. It's about turning on the magnet to attract the right person.